Give them a shot to do what?
And we back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Memorial Day to everybody and all who celebrate. Shout out to our vets, our men and women on the front lines doing their thing. I am Mike Hughes, aka the Shy Kid. You are listening to the Shy Kid podcast, where the North Side meets the South Side. And today's special episode got a Southside legend, Rob Scott of Rob's 2 Cents. Robbie, baby, how we feeling?
Oh, good, my brother. How you feeling?
Man, what we cooking today, man?
And nothing. I'm trying to figure out where the BBQ at, man. If you on the South Side, hit the boy up. I'm trying to stop by with maybe 2 or 3 take-home plates.
Something like that. Something slight. I know one thing. There's one place, one single place in the entire city I will not be attending tonight. That's the beach. Whether it's Montrose or Fullerton, wherever. I ain't rocking with the beach on Memorial Day for whatever reason. I mean, people just, I bring my floaties. I bring my floaties when I go to the beach. But for whatever reason in Chicago on a holiday weekend, people like to bring some metal to the beach. And my boys were like, "You want to go play spike ball at the beach today?" I said, "I'll be damned if I'm on ABC 7 News tonight."
You might be good up north.
It's toxic everywhere we go, man. And shout out to all my people who were at Sueños this weekend, man. Hey, like I said on Facebook, bro, if your girl was at Sueños this weekend, just focus on yourself, my brother. It's okay. But God was in your favor. The rain was pouring. The concert got canceled. It was crazy. But
but it got back sunny outside, so you know they was back.
A little bit. They was back outside. A little cheeky outside.
They was back outside.
But they always outside. But it's definitely a great vibe right now in the city. It's a great atmosphere. Obviously, Lupe Fiasco, Chance the Rapper, Dwayne Wade, the Chicago Sky are doing their thing, man. But Rob, I want to start this conversation with somebody who's watched Chicago hoops his entire life. You've watched the Michael Jordan era. I just missed it. Unfortunately, all I know is pain as a Bulls fan, but you know what 2 3-peats look like. You know what it looks like to see the greatest player of all time in person, in action. I want to ask you this first question. We're talking NBA basketball today. Breaking down Anthony Edwards. Now, we love Ant on this pod. We love Ant on the network. Rob's a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. But I want to ask you, you witnessed Michael Jordan in person and watched Anthony Edwards slowly grow into who he is today. Should we pump the brakes on the next Michael Jordan, especially after going down 0-3 to Luka Doncic?
We should always pump the brakes anytime it comes to talking about comparing somebody to Michael Jordan. It's MJ. Right. MJ did a lot to earn that cachet, to earn that mystique, to earn that aura. You know, Ant was giving a lot of similarity. I won't lie, even I got caught up in the buzz. I'm like, is this Anthony Jordan? I mean, wearing the one armband, you know what I'm saying, coming out, posterizing. People caught a poster last night. I mean, but I definitely don't want people. I want, because the real basketball people understand Ant is doing everything he can out there right now. Mm-hmm. He's doing everything he can. His team not giving him some help. We saw Jaden McDaniels show up one game. We saw him disappear. We've yet to see Cat really step up to be the Robin to Ant-Man's Batman. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if Gobert's the second best player on your team, you're not going to go very far. Ask Mike Conley when they were back in Utah. You know what I mean? So you got to understand that Ant still has a lot of growing to do, right? But make no mistake about it. Ant is out there going to work. He just needs somebody to come along for the ride.
No, for sure. Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde is one of my favorite books to read. One of my favorite stories. One of my favorite plays. You know why? Because it reminds me so much of the NBA. You can find out who's two-faced, who's night and day. Sometimes when you look at a Michael Jordan like Anthony Edwards, you have to see his Scottie Pippen. And Karl Anthony Towns is the perfect Scottie Pippen comparison because one night he's Scottie and the next night he's Larsa. I really don't know which is which. Sometimes it's got that female voice going and he's putting up 9 points going into the fourth quarter, 1 point at half, and it's just like the next night he looks like Scottie Pippen in 1994. So it's like
the man went 0-8 last night.
Man, like it
0-8 last night, and my thing is, bro, you haven't shot well all series from the 3-point line, but you steady putting up these 3-point shots in double digits.
Yep.
Like you gotta get your 7-foot ass down there and bang, bro. That's what you there for. God can't teach 7 feet.
No.
You know what they say? It's certain things you can teach, but you just can't teach God-given speed. You can't teach God-given height, and you have that. You got God-given 7-foot height, and you're not using it. You're using it to try to shoot over people instead of taking your big ass down there in that paint and going to work. Put the pressure back on Dallas to say we can't play this small unit, that we're going to have to match their bigs because they going to work out there. But when you letting PJ Washington and you letting
you chill out on PJ Washington.
I'm just saying, bro. Cat is 7 feet, bro.
I hear
He's
you. But
7
listen,
feet.
PJ
I'm
got
not.
a lot.
It just, think about what Kobe said about Iverson. The league better thank God that man won 6'9". Like that. That's what I'm saying. We've seen people with less height do more damage.
Right.
We've seen what Charles Barkley do. Charles Barkley is 6'4". He's 6'4".
Yeah,
that's
640.
That's what I'm saying. But he was one of the premier power forwards in the league, grabbing 20 rebounds. Like, come on, bro. You got to do something, bro. Teach the motherfucker something. I'm sorry. Excuse my language.
It's okay. It's okay. But no, I definitely agree with you, man. And we saw Rudy kind of get down there, not pinching people, but definitely kneeing people in the back of the head with Derek Lively, which was insane.
That was Cat too.
Wasn't that Rudy?
No, it was Cat.
I thought it was Rudy.
Cat was jumping up for the rebound. Rudy, I think, knocked him kind of out the air, but he hit Cat. He hit Cat knee.
Okay, I was under the impression it was Rudy. If I'm not, I could be wrong.
We talked about it all night because everybody was calling Cat dirty. I'm like, you can't call him dirty because he didn't intentionally mean to do that.
I mean, it was just one of those. It was a basketball play for sure. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Lively is a rookie. Lively has done more damage in this series, way more than Cat and Gobert to me.
Sure. 100%.
Like Lively making the right plays. We shout out to Gafford, who was a former Bull. And I'm always gonna love to see our former
Derrick Jones Jr. doing his thing too. I mean, it's great to see.
DJJ, you know what I'm saying?
Dunk God. I mean, the guy we had some Skywalkers on that Bulls squad. I can't lie.
But that goes back to my thing too with the Bulls development. It seems like to me,
I'm good, bro.
Every player that played with the Bulls almost goes somewhere else and just flourish.
Yeah, I mean it's just what it is, bro. I mean, look how many players we had in the playoffs this year alone. I'm looking at Patrick Beverly, Derrick Jones Jr., Daniel Gafford, Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner could have been a Bull, but you didn't. You know what I mean? There were, and I'm sure I'm probably missing a couple guys, but Bobby Portis. But there's Bobby Portis has been a huge.
Bobby Portis is like if KG is the designer store.
Sure.
Bobby Portis is Kohl's.
He's like Lululemon. He do his job. He all right.
I rock with no. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just
he's nicer than Kohl's though.
But no, what I'm saying is they remind me so much of each other.
Sure.
It's just that, that Bobby ain't KG, but the intensity, the skill set, Bobby Portis is a dog. Don't get me wrong now. I'm not dissing BP.
No, of course.
Yeah, that's a dog.
I know. Listen, Rob is a brave man, but ain't nobody brave enough to fight against Bobby Portis, especially after putting the pause on Nico Mirotic back in the day. Ain't nobody in the city want problems with Big Bobby. He stare at you with those eyes. I mean, it's terrifying. But I definitely hear you. I definitely understand where a lot of people are coming from. Anthony Edwards is a bucket, and I've been watching him for years. What we were able to see him do at a non-basketball school was incredibly impressive to me in college. So to have him come into the league, obviously Adam Sandler knew first and foremost because he got that Hustle movie out. He probably didn't even have to pay Ant that much to be in that movie. You got guys like Ant and Trae Young. Years later, you look at it. You remember in that movie, we talked about it when it came out, and I was like, they didn't have as many big stars as I thought they would in that movie. But now looking after it, you're like, oh, maybe you know what I mean? Like you were on to something with that one. But we're
Anthony Edwards played himself.
He did play himself, bro, and it literally played it. Did you see that meme? It was Anthony Edwards leaning over on Jokic, and they literally compared it him and Bo Cruz in the movie. Like that's tough. But we saw Luka recreate that last night, and he flipped the switch. He said, "Nah, this time the foreigner is taking the game." Going up 3-0, Luka Doncic, MVP runner-up. I mean, Rob, we talked about it just a couple weeks ago. I said I think Luka Doncic was robbed of the MVP. The man was out there balling. He was leading the league scoring out of all MVP candidates between SGA and Jokic. Obviously, coming from a rebounding and triple-double perspective, he has been phenomenal. I got to see him in the Shy with my boy George. We were at the game together, and the way he just flawlessly annihilated the Chicago Bulls at ease. In person, it's crazy to watch because it's just as slow as it looks on the game. At this point in time, would you say Luka is proving now with SGA and Jokic out of the playoffs that he was the MVP of 2024?
You know what? It's always like that when you look at it from a hindsight point of view. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna have to say Jokic was the MVP of the regular season, and we can't get caught up now in what Luka Magic has been doing in these postseason, because postseason had nothing to do with the regular season. Now, don't get me wrong. It ain't like my boy Ken was having it. It ain't like Doncic didn't kill. What's up, Frank? Appreciate you for tuning in, brother. But let's not act like Joker didn't do what he do. But I got this interesting perspective, and I don't think I heard anybody talk about it from this point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Anthony Edwards kind of messed up two ways. His first way is of course calling out Kyrie, because like he said, we can see in this series, Kyrie has taken it very personal that you think that I'm just a dude to call out and that you're gonna say I got him.
Right.
Like Kyrie, like, no, you don't got him. I am him. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. And like my boy, what's his name? FYB man, whatever his name is. My bad if I messed up your name. What he say? It hit different. Ooh. Kyrie, it hit different when you actually on the court with that boy. But I think the second way he messed up is that by him calling out Kyrie, Luka took it as disrespect. Because Luka said, is Kyrie the only person you see on this team? And I don't think I've heard anybody come at it from that angle. And I wanted this to be right now on the Give Us a Shot Network on the Shy Kid podcast with my brother Mike Hughes. I want y'all to hear from our angle that Luka took it as disrespect. Because Luka, as you know, finalist in one of the finalists in the MVP, in the MVP discussion. We're talking about a guy who has, once again taken his team back to the Western Conference Final. This is his second trip back to the dance before the dance. You get what I'm saying? And now he got some backup in PJ and Gafford and Kyrie. And Luka now is looking like you forgot who really bought us it. Not to say Kyrie has been the Robin to Luka's Batman, but Luka is 1A when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. Like, he's going to get the ball first. He's going to be the guy that be the primary ball handler for this team. He is the quintessential point guard of this team. He is the guy. When you think of Dallas Mavericks, Luka should be the first name that pops up in your mind.
100%.
Because he's been the man here. And for Edwards to just literally call out Kyrie and say, that's the guy who we have to stop in order for us to beat the Mavericks, I think Luka took that as a sign of disrespect. And I think Luka is showing how disrespectful it was, because him and Kyrie have literally, me and Mike, we talked about this, and in the ASAP chat, we talked about this. Shout out to our brothers over there. Luka and Kyrie are doing what they want, when they want, how they want. And it's crazy to see a team that literally has two guys who can be 1A on their respective teams go to work in jail with each other and know when to go crazy and when to step back. This has been beautiful basketball in the Dallas Mavericks. And I have to say that Luka, no, he didn't win the regular season MVP, but he's going to win the Western Conference MVP, Finals MVP for sure.
For sure. And I'm with you on it. And I think, the biggest thing to me is, and you can attest to this, I don't like to say that I was the only one, because there were definitely other people who still had his back. But let's not forget that, the league tried to get Kyrie out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Adam Silver tried to kick Kyrie to the curb. And I understand there was some anti-Semitic movie, or there was, and obviously the saging and the vaccine, and there was a lot of.
My only problem with Kyrie is go to work. Like
Sure.
I said, I stand on that. My thing is, if you have a mutual agreement with somebody, you have a contract, you got to go to work regardless of how you feel. I get that the world is going through problems, but your job, and that's different, man. You got to come to work. You can't just decide, and if you're gonna do that, take a personal day the normal way, like everybody else, but you can't disappear and then we see you pop up on a Zoom courtroom call and you there, but you're not where you're supposed to be at. I don't care about the vaccine. I don't care about the vaccine. That's your prerogative. I don't care about none of that. All I care about is going to work. And that was my problem with Kyrie. Other than that, the whole anti-Semitic thing, if you're going to get mad at Kyrie, the NBA, y'all doing stuff, all these sports networks doing stuff with Amazon Prime, get mad at Amazon. Because Amazon is the one who produced the movie that he was talking about.
100%. And I hear everything you're saying, but my point is just the league itself, man, tried to get Kyrie out of here.
They did. They definitely did.
It's definitely something for me that I think, we watch how Kyrie slowly climb back and how they sent him to Dallas and how they just, I don't think they sent him to Dallas to die, because obviously you have Luka Doncic next to you, but they definitely didn't expect him to re-sign with Dallas, and they probably expected him to go on a much lower volume of a salary cap going forward. Kind of like a similar situation. We'll get into it later about Klay Thompson, maybe even taking a vet minimum. I don't think people expected Kyrie to get that bag again the way he did. And, Kyrie has been nothing short of amazing. Mark Cuban said it publicly. Kyrie's not Kai of 2020 or Kai of 2017 or 2014 or 2013. He's a 31-year-old man. He's grown. He's an adult. He's matured. And Kyrie's been great. I mean, and I was very vocal on giving Kyrie another opportunity because I think it's strange. And there's levels to it, especially with the anti-Semitic stuff. And, there's a lot of different conversations that people can have about that. But, people praise Dennis Rodman for being out there, for being different, for being somebody who spoke his mind. And then someone like Kyrie Irving, the complete opposite. And I know there's different levels to it and there were different circumstances, but let's not act like Dennis Rodman didn't walk around the United Center with an AK-47 one night and that was proven. But, there's a lot of levels to it, man. And I think, the big thing for me is really breaking down and understanding who Kyrie is as a person and who he is as a player. And I think Luka's done a great job of understanding him as well. And maybe that's because, he's not from America. So he sees things from a different standpoint and he sees things from different perspectives as well. And also, I just think because Luka don't give a fuck what Kyrie does, to be honest. As long as he shows up, I think they're fine. But I love it, man. I love it for them. Obviously Luka's been one of my favorite players in this league for the last 6+ years. Got a chance to watch him, back when he was playing overseas, when we were watching him on House of Highlights. And at that time, I thought Devin Booker and Luka Doncic were going to be teammates. For whatever reason, they decided to go DeAndre Ayton is beyond me. But, I definitely think, man, it's really great to see him go full circle. Luka, to me, was the MVP of this year, and I am biased because he's my second favorite player in the league, next to Jimmy Himmy Buckets. But, I think it's going to be really interesting to see if Luka can close this out. And that leads us to our next topic, man. Before we get into Indiana and everything going down with Tyrese Halliburton, if this is both teams right now up 3-0, I don't remember last time both conferences in the Eastern and Western Conference final were up 3-0 in a situation like this. It's been a minute, probably since like Cavs Warriors, if that ever happened. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I would imagine at some point that got close to happening.
Because even with the Warriors, remember they went to Game 7 against Houston.
Right, okay. But there were so many years of that though. I'm sure in one of them they got close to it. And even on Cleveland's side, Cleveland wasn't dog walking the Bulls. Cleveland wasn't dog walking other. You know what I mean?
There were a bunch of teams. But I remember because Golden State. They got there when Kawhi went down, when he fell on Zaza's foot. And that started all the load management stuff. Yeah. And then remember the next year they had KD, and this is when Chris Paul is with Houston. And now, they go to Game 7. Chris Paul goes down, I believe, in Game 6 or 5. If Chris Paul doesn't go down, and everybody know I'm the biggest Steph Curry fan out here. They lose to Houston if Chris Paul doesn't go down.
Probably do. I would imagine so. James Harden was in that MVP bag like we had never seen him before. Like
he had help for the first time. He had
Clint Capella was solid.
He had somebody to get the offense going without him having to be the man, which we've seen when James Harden is the person that you're relying on, in the playoffs. it's not a good recipe.
Right.
But before we go on to what you're about to ask, I just want to give a huge shout out to Mark Cuban. You rarely you see owners really step up for players and really talk about, things that the media doesn't address. You know what I mean? And, the way that they gave Kyrie hate, I'm starting to see some places where they're showing this Kyrie love. They're showing the interaction he has with the fans and how people love him. But I really love what Mark Cuban said that, at the time when he was going to get Kyrie, he went to his peers and asked, and he said, I don't think Kyrie is hated by anybody in the NBA.
Right.
Like, these players love him, players he's played with, players who've played against him. They love Kyrie. And I'm glad that he listens to that because, one of our biggest gripes, with your whole MVP debacle we have is that the media is very biased in who they choose to be MVPs and who they choose to write good stories on or bad stories on. So to hear, Mark Cuban, use his platform to talk about the greatness of Kyrie and how he mentions that other players love Kyrie. Same way how other players mention that they love Kobe and Kobe's their GOAT. But when you hear the people talk about greatest player of all time, Kobe name never comes up. But his peers know. The guys who played against him, hell, when I played on the court against Kobe, we knew we had to go to sleep 8, 7 o'clock that night because that's going to be a long night going against this dude. Same way with Kyrie. So shout out to Mark Cuban just being as great of an owner as he is. And that just tells you why that Dallas Mavericks organization always continues to be in the thick of things when it comes to, having superstars and building these championship teams because of an owner like Mark Cuban, man. Guys want to go play for that type of guy.
No, for sure. And I'm sure LeBron was probably a conversation that Mark Cuban had with it. And I think that it speaks volumes when you still to this day hear LeBron say positive things about Kyrie, even after everything that went down. And I'm sure that pissed Bron off to a certain degree, that they didn't get to run things back the way he wanted to, the way he intended. But you even saw recently, they tried to get him back in LA. Like, as much problems as they had with each other, it was still all love. So it's interesting, man. You still see KD having good conversations with a guy like Kyrie Irving. James Harden's James Harden. He's his own person, but it is what it is. I mean, whatever, bro. He only fucked with a little baby. That's fine. But I think it's definitely something to me though, bro. Where Mark Cuban has shown that not only is he's not only my favorite owner in basketball, but probably my favorite owner in all of sports. And I don't think it's even close.
For sure.
But getting into it, man, we're talking a little poetic justice.
Well, I do love Robert Kraft too. I'm sorry.
Fuck Robert Kraft. But
I rocks with the Kraft.
I'm sure you do. But we talking a little poetic justice there, Rob Scott. We rocking into it, man. 3-0 for both Boston and Dallas. If it continues, both of these teams will be seeing each other in the finals. Kyrie Irving, the mentor, going up against his young prodigies, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the city of Boston more than anything. Forget the Celtics. The city of Boston has to see Kyrie Irving.
They got to see him again.
Where does this line up in one of the best storylines in the NBA?
It's been a minute. I think it's been a minute since we've seen a storyline like this. I think the last big storyline was LeBron versus the Warriors. The rematch, them having KD now, and a lot of the media saying, now they went to go get their big gun for Cleveland's big gun and LeBron. But even before that, there haven't been really exciting stories in the finals. Not like back in the day. Not like seeing the rematch between Utah and Mike and seeing Charles Barkley in '92 who MVP in his own right that year. Is he gonna be the one to take the throne from Mike? We just haven't seen the legendary Magic and Larry. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Larry Bird because hey, I gotta tell people right now, y'all better stop acting like y'all don't remember who Larry Bird is. Okay. Like, I hear Luka, everybody talking, man, Luka might be the greatest white player I've ever seen. Hey, y'all forget Larry Bird won MVP 3 times in a row.
And I think
only player to ever do that.
The biggest thing to me, forget all that. One of the only guys Michael Jordan couldn't beat either. I don't care how young Mike was. I don't care about those Bulls squads. I don't care what they looked like. Larry gave Mike the work.
Hey, Larry went to work.
He went to work. It was a problem, brother. It was a problem. But I'm with you, man.
But
This was dope to me though, Rob. Like this is something that, you know, I'm curious to see how Kyrie responds.
Yeah.
Because that for me is the biggest question. I want your
Kyrie
opinion on. I want your opinion on this though, because I think it's going to be interesting to see if he is vocal or if this happens, is he going to be quiet when it comes to the crowd? Because we saw Kyrie in the OKC series. He's talking about go the fuck home, go the fuck. He's talking he's talking that ish. He's going down there and he's letting people know you can't talk to me crazy. We've seen what happened between saying that he's going to return to Boston, which was kind of what started the whole. I don't think if that didn't happen, I don't think it would have went down as bad as it did. Spending 2 years in Boston, getting a water bottle thrown at him, obviously the boos and screams, obviously when he was a Brooklyn Net, the Sage telling everybody, man, this place is nasty, brother. The racism's out of here. It's out of pocket. Fans are horrible people. That's just what he's saying. And then it's been kind of quiet for a while because obviously now he's in the West. He's in Dallas. He's all the way across the country. No problem. If this happens, do you think Kyrie is going to remain quiet? Or do you think he's going to vocalize with the fans and kind of get into it?
I say this with the most respect in the world because I think Boston has a great team. But Kyrie is going to savor this ass whooping. He's going to savor it. And I'm telling you right now, and this is just from what I've seen in these series, because to me, Boston they don't take people out when they need to take them out. And when I say this, I mean, when they were playing Cleveland, you get to a point where Donovan Mitchell is no longer even on the court. Karis LeVert is not on the court. No Jared Allen. Yet Cleveland finds a way to stick around in that game, and they make Max Strus look like a star. You see in this Indiana series, there's no way in hell Indiana last game shouldn't have got blown out the gym.
Right.
You don't have Halliburton. You don't have your guy that's putting everything in order, and you let Nembhard go in there and score 30 points. Like, Boston doesn't put teams down when they need to put them down. And I think that's going to come back to bite them in the ass if you do that against Dallas. Now, granted, Porzingis might be back, and that makes this a whole different Boston squad. But also at the same time, you do not want to play with Luka and Kyrie. And I know Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they better eat their Wheaties and they better make sure they get some good night rest because it's going to be hell trying to guard these two guys on the perimeter because we see what Luka is doing. Look what Luka is doing in Minnesota. If they put Gobert on him, he's too slow and Luka's too methodical to get the job done. If you put somebody like Jaden McDaniels on him, or even Cat, even Slow-Mo, they too little. And Luka is having his way, doing whatever he wants. And let's not talk about what Kyrie is doing. There is nowhere on this floor that Kyrie don't see a spot and say that's a bad shot. Kyrie gonna get open, and Kyrie gonna go to work. I just don't think Boston versus Dallas is a good matchup for Boston. And I think Kyrie gonna savor that ass because he's waiting to go back to Boston and say, this is what happened when you let me lead.
No, for sure. And to that point, sorry, I was looking up some stats.
No problem.
That. But like even looking at the finals, man, I mean, you know, Jaylen Brown was the most consistent in the finals against the Warriors just a couple of years ago. Jason Tatum had several games of less than 15, less than 18 points, getting guarded by Andrew Wiggins. So when you see hopefully a healthy Derek Lively, when you see Daniel Gafford, Derek Jones Jr., you have guys like Kyrie and Luka, PJ. PJ, what a bucket! But
PJ been hooping, man.
What a bucket, man! I mean,
he been hooping like Brittany Renner asking for more child support money.
She probably is. Unfortunately, she probably is. I hope he don't get a check from winning the championship, brother, because that's gone if he do. But that's its whole. I don't even want to talk about her because genuinely I'm scared of her. But she got scary eyes, brother. But no, it's definitely going to be interesting, and I think it's such a I'm not a Star Wars guy. I want that clear. I've seen them probably once, and that's only Yeah, like I've only seen all the movies once because
I'm a Star Wars guy.
people force me to do it. But this reminds me so much of that Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. I mean, this the man that taught you the game. This the man, you going into it like, bro, Kyrie taught these young bucks everything. That's really what it comes down to. Like one day, maybe there will be a little Mike Hughes running around, and I'm gonna have to explain the picture of Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown in the Celtics uniform standing next to each other and why they never won a championship together. And that's still one of those storylines. If Kyrie was there today, it's a whole different story about the dynasty of what could have been had that worked out, had those guys been more mature, had those guys been more developed at that time. I think there's so many levels to this, man. I think this is the dopest storyline since Curry and LeBron. And, maybe you take into consideration Kawhi Leonard. That run was nice with Toronto, but it doesn't have this storyline feeling. There isn't these emotional feelings tied to this like there is in Boston. Because like I said, this isn't just Tatum versus Kai. They have a great relationship. It's Kyrie versus Boston. It's fuck Boston this entire series. And if you think Kyrie's not going to say something, wait till Luka does. You talk about Larry Bird. I'm about to show you the resurrection of Larry Bird in Boston when they raise a trophy for Dallas in Boston. That's what it's going to come down to.
Let me ask you this. This brings on a good question.
Mm-hmm.
And I need your expertise.
Of course.
If Boston loses again in the finals,
mm-hmm.
I know that you just gave Jaylen Brown all this money. Do you re-sign Tatum and give him the max?
When's Tatum's a free agent? When?
Tatum's, I think this year, after this season. It's either after this season or next season, but he due for an extension.
Let me see something real quick because I like that conversation because Brown is making over $300 million if I'm not mistaken.
Jaylen Brown making $325.
Right, he's making $325.
So you imagine Tatum is gonna get $350, $360.
So Jason Tatum is currently, let me see, because he signed a 4 or 5 year deal.
I think it's this year. I think
he has a player option this year, and then he's a free agent in 2026. He could opt out. He could opt out. I don't see him. Just to carry this conversation, I don't see him opting out because it's $37 million a year. I think he'll definitely run that back one last time. He could though. He definitely, because we saw Brown do the same thing just recently. We're gonna get into that in a little while. But I that's an interesting conversation depending on what JT wants to do. Now, me myself personally, I think not knowing this man personally, not knowing his agenda or what he's about, I think JT wants to be a Boston Celtic for life.
Oh, for sure.
That's just the impression I get. The energy he holds about the city of Boston with Deuce and company. I don't see him wanting to dip whatsoever. So yeah. I'm curious though, man. Like it could come down to that, but I don't for this upcoming season, I should say. I don't think he opts out of that $37 million on a 1 year deal. I think he could definitely get that extension this summer. I think that could definitely come. If I'm Boston,
but if I'm Boston, do you want two guys on the Supermax and we ain't won no ring yet?
If I'm Boston, you're a fool if you don't. You know what I mean? Like it's what it because like here's the reality, right? I'm gonna play devil's advocate for you. You're saying the same thing right now about what Dallas has already done. They locked up Luka and Kyrie, and they have two guys on a Supermax who haven't won a championship.
They only played 2 years.
But I'm just saying
though. Played 2 years. This is their second year. In 2 years, they've already made it to the Western Conference Finals on the verge of going to the finals. This is after 2 years. If you're Boston, we're talking about a team who now is going to make it to the finals, 3 times? Would this be their third time in the finals?
2.
Because they played the Warriors. Oh, they almost, but they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
But that was different though. That was
lost to the Heat.
That was 2018
though when they made it. Though.
They did. And you know what though? But to that point, you can't make that argument because
I'm making it.
You can make it, but Jimmy Butler's done this shit to everybody in the East.
I don't know. He hasn't.
Yeah, he's been in the finals twice.
That's not everybody. He did.
He dogs people. He dogs Giannis, he dogs Dame, he dogs all these dudes. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. So I mean, I think there's definitely been some competition to go against. Obviously you lose to the Warriors who end up winning the championship. You get to the dance, you're a little young, you're not ready for that moment. I think you're a
But
fool.
still, they should have at least gave the Warriors a problem.
Sure.
They
And
didn't even give them a problem, man. Steph made that look easy.
There's conversation.
A lot of people are like not even counting that championship with Steph. Like they're like, yeah, we know you won.
No, we ain't gonna do that.
You won after. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
But I don't think anybody doing that.
No, I've heard people like, yeah, but he beat Boston. Like, was that really complicated? Like,
I think it was.
I've been hearing these conversations. Now,
I think it for sure was.
If you asking me, I think it was great. I think that's the team that you want to beat, especially after what transpired with KD losing. This is the same team that eliminated KD, or no, Milwaukee eliminated KD, but this is the same team that beat the team that eliminated you, that eliminated KD. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm just saying. I've heard the conversations.
And I hear you. There's levels
give Boston
to it.
That credit. Now, I think though, and I'm gonna let you go. Is the storyline of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can't win together is gonna be like massive if they don't win.
And that's everything.
It's gonna be loud.
That's everything for me. And I think that's the real conversation you're going to start hearing. I don't think it's going to be about keeping one or the other, because I think you want to keep both realistically, but one would end up getting traded, in my personal opinion. If you want DeMar DeRozan for Jaylen Brown, we can make something happen. We can make something shake. We can do something.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying that Jaylen Brown is the Batman.
I'm there. I have always said I think Jaylen Brown is the Batman, and I said that because of Andrew Wiggins giving Jason Tatum the work in the finals. And there were so many things that went down with that championship run. One, Jordan Poole was the second coming of Steph Curry for about 30 days. Yeah, but even before that, it was just a different vibe how he carried himself in the summer after that chip. Obviously, you had guys like Dante DiVincenzo doing his thing. Hey, how you doing? But, and then obviously Andrew Wiggins was an X factor for that entire playoff run. So, and then he fell off the face of there. So everything was going right for Golden State. I think it was a very young Boston Celtics team. We saw them, in 2018 go to the Eastern Conference Finals against Bron and Cleveland. So that was dope, and then we saw them again and again and again. And we start to have that real conversation. Can this team win together? And I think, to me, the answer is yes, but no. You're going to win games. You're going to be in the conversation. But is that all you want to be? Boston has always predicated themselves on being champions. You ever watch Lake Show? Rob lived Lake Show. He's watching, the Lakers go tick for tack with Magic Johnson and company and Larry Bird. And now you're obviously seeing Jason Tatum going up against LeBron James and AD. And let's not forget Kobe going up against KG and company as well. So, there's so many eras to this.
That was a championship to win.
That was
a championship to win, man. I shed tears that night when Kobe won.
But I'll say this though, Rob. Before we
miss you, Cole. We miss you, Lord Jesus.
This is the Rob I miss. This is the Rob. But I think, man, I think at the end of the day, I don't know if these two could win a championship together. And if I'll say this, if they beat Luka and Kyrie, I don't think that's impossible, especially if Porzingis.
It's not. No, it's not impossible.
Not at all. We talk about Kyrie going up against Dallas or going up against Boston, but you have Porzingis going up against Dallas. He's been there before. They told him he wasn't good enough to play alongside and be the Robin to Luka, and they tried to make that happen. They wanted to make two Dirk brothers go at it. Mark Cuban loves his tall white boys. He tries to make it happen. We saw Dirk in the crowd last night, which was so great to see. And every time I see Dirk, I don't know why, but I always wonder what Tim Duncan's doing right now. I always just in my mind
chilling.
He's on the island. He
got his dread. I think he was on the coaching staff or some type of.
He was on the Spurs coaching staff.
Yeah, or doing some type of consultation. You know what I'm saying? Because
he's
made himself available for Wemby. And what a great person to learn from. But let's just what, like I always say, NBA is built on matchups. Because I say this, I think Minnesota was a horrible matchup for Denver. But if Denver was in this position,
I think Denver beats. I think Denver beats the Mavs.
They beat Dallas. And you look at the East right now, I just think that Boston has a winning culture. So they walk around with their chest puffed up and head held high. Sure. They have a winning culture, and they have enough people on that team, enough veterans to understand what it takes to get the job done. How do I like how they always get the job done? No, because like I said, I think against Indiana right now, like Indiana should have no chance. Like if you're a betting man, you should be able to put money on Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hausen tonight to go crazy because this game should be over with by the second quarter. But that's just not going to happen. They're gonna be tough and they're gonna come in there and they're gonna give Boston some problems at first because that's what Boston has shown me. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to Boston and Dallas, I don't know if I like that matchup for Boston. I don't know if I like it because Dallas is one of the teams in the West that can compete with Boston in that 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
As we know, Boston is the highest 3-point shooting team in the league right now.
I'm with you. I also just don't like it for Dallas either, though. I don't like it for Dallas because if Porzingis is healthy, which is always a question mark, because right now we don't know how fully healthy he's going to be.
He might have an Achilles.
He might, and
I
it's
think
definitely
it's an Achilles. Like the way that they've been keeping it, like so
it's very quiet.
What happened with Giannis?
What happened with
Giannis was gonna come back, and Giannis, I think that was an Achilles. They didn't want to call it that, but the way Giannis went down, that was something with his Achilles.
And they don't want to talk about that. We've seen it with Dame at the same time. We saw it with KD back in the day when they were going up against Toronto. We've seen it time and time again. They want to keep that little hush hush because one dude steps on the back of your foot and it's over with. But I think for me, man, we're getting into it. Indiana, man, I mean, they've been great this entire season. It's definitely a successful season no matter what, in my personal opinion.
Or they came close to winning the play-in.
I mean, they came close to winning the play-in, but, it is what if my aunt had an Adam's apple, she'd be my uncle. But it is what it is. You know what I mean?
If was a fifth, everybody be drunk.
Exactly. So, it is what it is. But they've had a very successful season. I think Tyrese Halliburton has emerged himself as a top-tier player. Not to be a top 5 player, top 10 player, but I think he's made that conversation. But flatlining down 0-3 right now to the Boston Celtics, which to Halliburton's point, one, he hasn't been fully healthy either. But I think throughout this playoff series, it really spoke volumes to me. I think not that he's been overrated, but I think everybody got on the Halliburton train a little too early. Like we're looking at his points. Points aren't everything. Want to point that out. We're going to look at the plus minus assists and rebounds and everything else.
But he led the league in assists.
Sure. And he's been great from an assist perspective, averaging over 8 assists per game, damn near every other game. But looking at his points, we're going to go from New York game 1 to Boston game 3. He had 6, 34, 35, 20, 13, 15, 26, 25, 10, and did not play due to an injury. I'm seeing a lot of very low double-digit to single-digit points there, and kind of just a lot of inconsistency. So I wanted to ask you though, before you say
to his detriment in that game, that last game that he had 10 points before the do not play, he left during that game.
Sure,
that's when he left.
My big thing right now, Rob, is he played 28 minutes in that game.
Yeah,
you still had 10 points in 28 minutes. I don't give a fuck. That's period.
Well, Siakam was going crazy,
and that's fine. But my question is, do you pump the brakes a little bit on Tyrese Halliburton's hype because everybody's viewing him as one of the faces of the league right now? No. I think you do. I really think
no. I'm saying he's not the face of the league.
Oh, of course.
He's I've been pumped the brakes because he didn't show up after the play-in. Like after the play-in, he made this hype around himself, and then once the play-in was over, you would have thought that they thought that this was postseason. Like it's time to pack it up and go home. To me, it was amazing that Indiana even made the playoffs. The way that they played after the play-in tournament. So I've pumped my brake. I think Halliburton is a good player. I don't want to say great. I think you go around that great word too much, and it's hard to be a great player. He's not even the top guy at what he does. To me, he led the league in assists, but this dude, to me, man, sometimes you see what he could be, and it's like he doesn't give his all. To me, from what I've watched with Halliburton, it's like he's not playing with the passion that I want to be the best point guard in the league right now, and I don't. To me, that's a turnoff. If I'm watching you play, I want you to be the best at what you do. You look at Luka and Kyrie, you look at Anthony Edwards. these are guys that play with the chip on their shoulder. Halliburton had that chip on his shoulder during the play-in, or the in-season tournament, I should say. But after the in-season tournament, it was like he disappeared. He disappeared.
No, for sure. And there might have been something we didn't know. There might have been an injury that was nagging him all year.
I don't want to hear.
But that's what I'm saying. And that's fine.
Everybody hurt all year. Look at Luka right now. Luka is like a cyborg, dude. Like 100%. That dude is hurt. You can tell he's hurt. And Luka is still going out there putting on a performance because, like they say, if you hurt and you out the game, then there's nothing I can say, man. That man hurt. Give him some time to heal up. If you hurt and you decide you still want to play, well, I don't give a shit about you being hurt.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, if you're out there, brother, you're out there, and that's what it comes to. If you show up to war, you're gonna get shot, and that's just what it is. No one cares if you tripped and fell or you got your knee. You're gonna get got. That's just what it is. So it's like I think it's interesting,
how,
man.
Tommy Lee Jones said, I don't know if you ever seen The Fugitive. This might be before your time, but Harrison Ford was telling him like, I didn't kill my wife, and Tommy Lee Jones was like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. I don't care. Like, it's not my job to care about you being hurt.
It's real though, man.
Show production out here.
For sure. And that's exactly where I'm at. I think you watch dogs. You watch dogs go after it night in and night out. SGA. I mean, you've seen him in post game. He's doing it. He's making dog sound. Like, real shit. If you ever watch, like, I love their post game.
I know, I love it. Jalen Williams, all of them.
They're great, bro. They're great. But like you see this time and time again of guys. Like last night, I was with my boy Tuna and Nico. We were watching the game, and third quarter roll around towards the end of the third quarter, and you see it in Ant's eyes. Ant start heating up. You're like, oh shit. Everyone went, oh shit, because you knew he was about to start cooking, and he was. Yeah. And that's the craziest part is when you see that evil in your eye. It's like even Luka, he smiles at you, kind of looks at you like that crazy white boy. He looks like a shark sometimes. He's a shark in the water. He smells blood, and that's what it is. So like, for me, I only see Halliburton talking shit when he's up, and I've heard other people say that as well. And like, he is, and I think my thing with Halliburton, one, he's got two voices, which freaks me out, and two, the biggest part to me is I don't see that dog. I see, Rob got knocked down, and I stood over you, and I talked my shit, but I never see you look someone in their face to face, in front of you. And I've never seen you go to battle. I've never seen you go to war. In a 3-point competition, sure. In the All-Star game, sure, that's cool. I don't care about none of that. In the in-season tournament,
I want to see
good.
It when it's real.
Right. And that, to me, when Siakam starts to take over, to your point, okay, if Karl Anthony Towns is taking over, you better bet your ass that Ant is still out there talking shit, doing his thing, and he's putting up numbers. I don't care. Like, you shouldn't be, well, Siakam had a good night, so I didn't have to. I was just passing the ball. There's you eating, bro. Like, that's what it comes down to.
Hey, if you having a good night and I have a good night, well, we should go kill these dudes.
We both having a good. We can both have a good night. Like that's. And I'm not saying every game has to be perfect, but I'm saying there are several games this year where I kind of looked at them and said that was a lackluster performance. But before we get out of here, we got a couple more things to say. The first one is going into free agency. We're looking at free agency right now because the man just couldn't handle not being in the spotlight right now. He had to. Rich Paul announces, man, LeBron's going to be a free agent. Man, you couldn't even wait till the end of the fucking season, Bron. I mean, you just had to start talking shit. So,
I think, what? I think he's trying to take the storyline off Bronny.
Possibly. But we're going to get into Bronny in a little bit, though, because, it's my least favorite time of the year where every white man with a Twitter account wants to just completely disregard everything we've seen and everything we've witnessed at the collegiate level. Man, it went from Bronny's going to be a second-round pick to maybe now he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. Man, you're just running out of stories. It's wild. I saw it on ESPN, Rob. I don't know what you want from me.
Whoever wrote that wild.
Don't be mad at me. ESPN was talking about it last night.
Well, you know what? ESPN is the same one that come up with these BS ass top 10 lists. Like they said, Wemby is the best player. Was it ESPN or the Ringer? But they came out with a list. It said Wemby is the top 10 player, the top number 1 player, and players 25 and younger. And I said, did y'all forget that Luka 25? Did y'all forget Anthony Edwards is 22? Have people forgot about Ja? I know Ja ain't been playing, But when Ja's a certified killer.
Sure. Zion. I mean, there's a lot of
Like,
SGA is under. How old is SGA?
No, that's why I said I hate SGA is under 25.
Is he under 25?
Yeah,
he played with
gotta be under 25.
No, bro, because he played with CP3 and Billy Donovan in OKC.
He did, but he was like 19.
Motherfucker, he was not 19 when look, you got me swearing. It ain't no shot he was in the league at 19.
That's fine. Let's figure it out.
How old is he? Let's see. Now we'll stop the whole damn show. I need to know. Rob talking about he under 25. If he 25, I'm fucking 12. That's what it is.
Oh Lord Jesus. Hold on. What's his name? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander age. Here we go.
I just write.
He 25.
He not 25.
He 25. He was born. He about to be 26 in July. But right now, this past season, he was 25.
Age.
His birthday, July 12th, 1998. Damn, that's a baby.
That's not 25, bro. I'm 24. He's 27.
It just said 25. I put it in Google. That's what it said. That is 25 too. He'll be 26 this year.
Wait, but I'm 24.
26, yeah. You was born in what, 2000?
2000. So I'm 24. Someone in 99 would be 25.
Right, but he about to be 26. That's why I keep telling you. He not.
But wouldn't he already be 26?
No, his birthday in July, bro. So he turned 26 this year.
But he was okay. Wait, but
he's 25 right now. He was just 25 during this past season. He don't turn 26 until July.
Damn, how long you been in the league, Cut?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
He has been in the league since 2018.
Yeah.
Which means he would have been...
He's 18, 19. I told you.
All right, Rob. Damn. What college? Hello? How old? I'm looking this shit up.
And you gotta remember he's from Canada. So he probably
drafted.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me see.
He's from Canada, eh?
First round pick, 11th overall pick, Kentucky freshman. So he was 19.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rob.
Come on,
I'm sorry,
man.
Rob. I'm sorry, Rob.
When he got drafted by New York.
Man, he didn't get drafted by New York, though.
Why did he play for the Knicks? Yes, he did.
No, I thought he got drafted by the Clippers.
No. Who did Shea Gilgeous-Alexander get drafted by?
Oh, it says the Hornets. He was drafted by the Hornets.
Right, but then he got traded to New York.
No, then he got traded to
I think
LA.
He played with New York, and then he went to the
Oh
no, he got traded to it. Yeah,
you're thinking Emmanuel quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he got
Charlotte
traded.
had him?
Yeah. Charlotte didn't know what to do with that.
Charlotte don't know what to do with none of that. They don't even know what to do with LaMelo because he running over 11-year-olds. Fucking crazy. You know what? Matter of fact, I do want to mention that really quickly. Mike Powers, Germ, I love you guys. I'm not trying to get in trouble on here, but irresponsible parenthood is just something, bro. I mean, how are you suing LaMelo Ball for running over your son's foot? Why your son have his foot anywhere near some man's car?
People's cars.
Don't ever do that. What is
you
wrong
don't
with
do
you?
that. You
First of all,
like that.
I mean, that was what I was gonna say. There's many reasons why you don't do that, and it's not a tire, but it's tire iron. It's something crazy, but you know, it's wild.
In Chicago, they ride around with that joint on their lap.
I don't even look at people's cars when I walk down the street. I don't even walk down the street no more, bro.
Hey, I know people that be.
I know you do.
To you, my boy.
I know you do.
I
know you do.
What you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Be mean mugging from the street.
Look at Megan. Look at my girl Megan coming in clutch. She's an Eastern Conference killer.
No, Megan been going crazy.
Megan been going wild. But that's what I'm trying to say, bro. Is you gonna act like
shout out to Mike. You see Michael C.
Man, but that's what I'm telling you, bro. It's like you gonna act like Jimmy Butler wasn't valid to go up against.
No, that's Jimmy Butler. But what I'm saying is, bro,
Eric Spoelstra, like
it looks better on Jimmy and it looks bad on Boston.
I guess,
but
when Jimmy did it,
coming in, that's like.
Nah, bro, I can't even agree with it because it's like Jimmy did that shit not once but twice.
Jaylen Brown, and so against Milwaukee,
Giannis, he did it against Giannis the year they won a fucking chip. You know what I'm saying?
If I'm playing for Boston,
Man gave the Lakers work. The man tried
looking,
against Jokic.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good, but it's not a bad look.
Good.
You know what I mean?
It's a bad look for Boston.
It's
you remember when these two supermax guys and they can't handle Jimmy?
So wait, I'm gonna ask you this: Dwayne Wade by himself before Bron, before Bosh, when he won a chip, he went to the finals by himself. What was it? Was he a rookie?
No, he wasn't no rookie. That's 3 years.
Year 2, year 3, something. It was close. It was close.
He won in 06.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Is that a bad look that Dwayne Wade with old ass Shaquille
Wade wasn't by himself though.
He wasn't locked and loaded.
He had Shaq.
He had an old ass Shaq.
He had Alonzo Mourning.
Sure.
He had what's my boy name? Posey. He had Eddie House. He had Gary Payton.
Sure.
Yeah, come on, bro.
A bunch of old
by himself.
Those are names though.
Like, he had a bunch of guys. Alonzo did his thing that year.
He did, but
Alonzo could have been defensive player of the year that year.
But these aren't the way he was players in the league, bro.
Man, it don't matter if you.
But that's what I'm saying. Jimmy had guys. Jimmy had Bam. Jimmy had Tyler.
Jimmy ain't had them guys.
Man,
Jimmy didn't have them guys.
Man,
Jimmy ain't had them guys.
Don't forget what Duncan Robinson was doing back in that bubble.
Don't get me wrong. Bam, a dog. Bam,
defensive player of the year candidate.
Making Team USA. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But come on, man.
NBA first team all defense.
We talk about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, bro.
Well, that's what they got their ass dusted by.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying, bro. It's
they got my allergies acting up, man.
There's levels. Oh, it's that pollen, bro. I was outside yesterday. It was cracking. It's all those little white things.
That's why I keep rubbing my damn eye, man. My allergies messing up.
But no, bro. Like I think not to stay on the Jimmy topic, but like it, and I think you would agree with it. It's one's one. Two's a coincidence. I mean, bro, we got three. I mean, Jimmy's been doing it for years with Miami. And Jimmy was doing it when he was on the 76ers. Jimmy was doing it when he was on the Bulls.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now,
Jimmy's been doing this.
I'm not coming at Jimmy. I'm saying Jimmy didn't have no help. And they got whooped.
Hey, bro, but like, let's be completely honest. Some of those Lakers.
That's what you see. What happened? What happened when he went against a team?
But what happened?
What happened when they went against the Nuggets?
No, for sure.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Again,
like,
no, it's the Nuggets.
Miami, like there is not one person that watched that NBA Finals and said, "Damn, Miami got a chance."
No, not at all. Not at all. But like against the Lakers, I thought they did. Real talk. And to be honest, if
nobody thought they had a chance.
I thought they did.
Then you was just doing that on the hope and the prayer.
Of course, I was on.
Nobody looked at him going against LeBron and AD at that time.
LeBron and AD, man, that time.
Was crazy. That time,
AD was different. AD
Dwight
was
Howard,
Rondo.
Come on, man. Ain't nobody looked at no Lakers and thought that the Heat was gonna whoop them.
But look, Rob, our last topic, I want to get into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of LA, LeBron James, we mentioned it a little while ago before we had a little rant. LeBron James, officially a free agent. What do you think?
A scary house.
When you look at the Lakers, I want to talk about the Lakers first. What is the move? If you can't bring back Bron
ain't staying there.
But if he's gone, what do the LA Lakers do?
I don't know.
You have Austin Reeves, you have Anthony Davis, you have some guys, you have Rui Hachimura, you D'Lo.
It goes to hell.
It
goes to hell. It goes to hell. I'm sorry. Because now AD is the best player on your team.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a problem to me.
That's not what you want.
Yeah, it's not.
Not a guy. It's not. With Anthony Davis, it's never ever been a question about his skill level or even his will. Sometimes it's about his motive, but for the most part, he shows up to play. Mm-hmm. The problem is he gonna show up to play? That's the question. Is he gonna be available?
Right.
Is his tummy gonna hurt? Is he gonna
be
on the bed when he's waking up in the morning?
Because now, to your point, you mentioned this a few months back when Bron kind of got a little banged up and AD was healthy. The question is, if Bron leaves and AD goes down, now your squad, you're rolling out Austin Reeves, D'Lo, and Rui. Like these guys aren't. If you miss multiple months, or you miss a couple months,
starting lineup.
That's bad. I mean,
You got Gay. What's his name? Gabe Davis or whatever his name is.
Gabe Davis. Yeah.
You
No,
got Gabe.
Gabe Davis is Gabe Vincent, isn't it?
Vincent Gabe. Yeah.
Gabe Davis is in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. You got all these bombs there.
Yeah, I mean, they're solid role players. They're solid role players, but it's going to be a problem if you lose your superstars. You know what I mean? And that's
we're talking about starting.
Exactly. And I think that's going to be the real problem. I love, I'm a huge AR-15 fan. I love Austin Reeves, but
I can't be no team by itself.
It's not, and that's the problem. And I treat him the same way I treat Tyler Hero. Not trying to compare two white boys, but as another white boy, I could say they're two peas in a pod. That's just they're not superstars.
And I love AR-15.
And I love Tyler Hero too.
I love Tyler too. Yes, he wrote with 2 R's.
But they know they damn. Wow. But they know their role though is the point. And they can be a 3 or 4 on a championship team. I believe that. And I think maybe more so Tyler, just because we've seen it. They've gone to the finals before with Tyler.
AI could be.
I haven't seen him do it. That's my only point. I haven't seen him do it in the playoffs. I think I need to see that a little more. But I think, what it comes down to for me, man, is you could throw a Hail Mary and get a DeMar DeRozan. You could throw a Hail Mary and get a Donovan Mitchell, and that's A-okay. But does that do anything for you? And I think that's going to be the ultimate. Did you hear the rumor they might bring back Brandon Ingram? I was like, why the fuck? That's why I said it from day one. That's why you don't get rid of Brandon Ingram, brother. Like, the man looks 40.
He's a bum.
Brandon Ingram?
A bum. A bum.
Stop the show. I'm about to head over to Rob's real quick.
I'm sorry, bro.
Brandon Ingram's a bum.
A bum.
How though?
B-U-M.
How though?
Bum.
How?
Because you're not winning anything with Brandon Ingram.
Because fucking fat ass can't play more than 5 games a year.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Brandon Ingram's supposed to be the man.
What?
He's supposed to be the man.
How, bro? How? What do you mean he's supposed to be the man?
That was supposed to be KD 2.0. That's what they was building him as.
And who was Zion supposed to be?
I mean, Zion's supposed to.
Don't do that. Don't make excuses for the horny boy. Because I've seen his tweets on Twitter. I've seen the messages. He out there on the toilet.
What you calling a horny boy?
Horny boy out here eating fun cakes. He eating Funyuns. He just out here.
The funnel cakes.
Man, sending pictures of his dang to everybody. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Wow.
We're not going to act like, no, bro, because what we're not going to do, I get it. If Brandon Ingram was there by himself with CJ McCollum and company, I hear you. But when you're the number 1 overall pick, when your shoe fucking explodes against Carolina, when you're playing for Duke, and you're viewed as the hottest thing since sliced bread, the hottest thing since pants with pockets, the hottest thing since a fucking cell phone that flips, and you can walk down the street with it. Shout out BlackBerry. Bro, what? What? That is Zion's team, and he's the reason they haven't been able to win shit.
Zion done.
Bro, me and you talked about it a month ago when this shit started. That the Pelicans have played 10 plus playoff games. Zion has played in 1 of them, and he got fucking hurt. And it wasn't even a real playoff game. Everyone's like, oh, look, he dropped 30 plus points in his first playoff game. It was a play-in game. It didn't even really count. Because if you're going to say that Kobe White dropped fucking 40 and they said that shit didn't count. So don't let me hear that. But then what happened? Fat boy got hurt. That big boy down. That's what it is. Big boy down, couldn't finish the game, and they lost that game. And that's all that it comes down to. But I don't want to hear no Brandon Ingram slander. Fuck that, bro. It is Zion's team. Brandon shows up. He shows out. Rob, wait. I hear you. I hear you.
Brandon Ingram goes back to LA.
If Brandon Ingram
does something for LA,
I don't because I don't think AD stays healthy. It's the same thing. It's the same because you're trading Zion for AD. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same problem. They literally were like, we don't want AD anymore. They got rid of AD because he wasn't healthy enough. And then they got Zion, and it's the same fucking thing.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna tell you what Brian.
If he was, let me tell you something. If he was on the Chicago Bulls, we would be a playoff contender.
Brandon Ingram.
All
right, y'all. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not the fucking show, bro. Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, DeMar DeRozan, and Brandon Ingram. Give me that shit today. I will drive Zach LaVine myself. You want
That
Lonzo
is-
back? You can have Lonzo back.
That is Mike Hughes Chicago Bulls. And we go get Brandon Ingram. I would never wear my Bulls hat until he gone.
Give me Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is
I got a problem with Brandon Ingram.
Dog. He looks 40, but he's like 25, bro. He's chilling.
He ain't no dog. And I hope it sounds bad, bro. But no, I don't believe in Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram's a fucking dog. I don't want to hear this slang. That is crazy.
What a DOG? It ain't no DAWG.
Oh man, Rob, we throw hands today, bro. I'll see you at the beach, bro. I'll see you at the beach, bro.
It ain't no DAWG.
Bring the stick. Bring the stick.
Because I'm gonna be the only one to get arrested.
I'm gonna run. He did it. He's over there, officer. Get his ass. Nah, bro, but
I got glasses though. They don't mess with a black man with glasses.
Oh, you know how CPD works. CPD don't really mess with nobody. You know, they kind of scared.
But you got on glasses, you look sophisticated. Black people, if you want to get out of getting pulled over, put on a pair of glasses.
We just got canceled. No, brother. But look, we got into it about LA. Fuck LA. Let's throw it out the window. Rich Paul.
No, bro. Hey.
What?
Go ahead.
What?
Read your statement.
Don't. What? We can keep going, bro. I don't care.
I agree with what we talked about offline. Go ahead and read your statement, and I'll make sure I give you your credit.
I'm just saying. Rich Paul's probably gonna stay in LA. He's gonna do his thing over there, but Bron's probably gone. I'm gonna ask you first before I give my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Where do you have LeBron going? Or if so, the list. Would you say let's not even do top 3. Let's do top 2. Let's cut it down because the third one's always just the side chick. No one cares about that. Let's top 2 options. LeBron James 2024. Let's first view it from a championship perspective, and then we'll obviously talk about what teams would actually take Bronny in order to make this happen. Because you had a good argument about we saw that on the Pat McAfee show where the one guy was like, I think Charlotte should take him. He started talking about fried chicken. I don't even know what the fuck that was. But it's a weird interview. It really I'm gonna send it to you. But teams like Charlotte, teams like the Suns, I don't see it happening. So we'll get into it. Or the Suns maybe, but other failing organizations, the Rockets, the Wizards, the Bulls, we don't really see that happening realistically. So where are you at right now in the LeBron James saga that is now entering free agency?
Well, I don't want to take your shine because you mentioned a team that I think that's very, very plausible.
Okay, we can do that one together.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the picture that I saw, which I think will actually probably be a good fit with the Philly. And you think about pairing LeBron with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Oh man!
See, I like that, and you and I talked about it.
Tough.
We talked about it from this perspective on Welcome to Mars. We had a little pod going on, and hopefully we get that joint going into the summer for Summer League. But
give us a shot.
Give us a shot. We can talk about it. We can talk about once I send Germ our intro and how clean it was. It was a little long. We definitely chop it up. It was like a 2-minute intro, but we can make it look nice. We could do something dope. But let's get into it, man. Like I love the idea of Embiid and Maxey and what they were able to do with James Harden was so strategic. They got expiring deals to free up a max contract. Brown doesn't even need to take a pay cut. He can be a max contract level player.
They're going to let Tobias Harris go. He's a bum.
Bye-bye. I don't even welcome Wong Dong Tigers. But get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. I'm curious, bro. Would LeBron risk playing with another injury-prone center the way he did with AD in Joel Embiid?
That's a good question.
Because it's really you're trading Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves for Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Now Tyrese Maxey is an upgrade from Austin Reeves, 100% most improved player of the year, which should have been Kobe White, but I digress. I'll go to war too. Germ, our guy Germ on the network, great guy. But unfortunately, he's a 76ers fan, and I have to let him know all the time. Kobe fucking White was the most improved player of the year. But with that, though, I'm asking, do you think he wants to play with Joel? And does he trust Joel?
I think the 76ers others are better. And when you think about the others with this 76ers team, they got a tough team, man. They got a team that was gritty. They got a team, you look at Tyrese Maxey, man. I mean, you say what you want. I
I
get
like
it.
him.
You're gonna be biased because
Of
Kobe
course.
White is our
Of
guy,
course. Of course. 25
but
points per game was
I
25
mean
points per game.
to see that man go out there and score 50, like
Mm-hmm.
to see Tyrese Maxey, like to see him realize how big the moment is, and to
Right.
realize that our big gun right now is going through a situation. Joel Embiid down with injury, Joel Embiid being diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and you see the left side of his face all numb, and I remember, I don't know if wrestling fans talking about wrestling fans, though, this is the same stuff that Jim Ross got diagnosed with, which is why when he talks, it looks like one side of his mouth is moving and the other side is not.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
think
like a
he has
stroke, but
cerebral
it's not a
palsy
stroke,
bad.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has it bad. So to see Joel Embiid go through all those demons, and to see the way that Maxey responded, I think LeBron respects that. I think the 76ers organization will welcome him with open arms. I think the fans will welcome him with open arms. We know about his ties with AI, and AI would definitely be an advocate for somebody like LeBron being there. And I think that the 76ers would treat the Bronny situation like how Milwaukee treats Giannis brothers. Like, yeah, we can hold a roster spot for him, and not necessarily saying he's gonna play. And hey, if they going against Washington one night, let him play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going against
Chicago.
Chicago one night, let him play.
Right. Charlotte.
Put Bronny in the game, and let him get a run in with LeBron. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Philly could possibly be a good fit for LeBron. But I like the one you mentioned. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that one.
Yeah, my number one, man, and I know everybody would love D-Book, KD, and LeBron, and everybody wants to talk about all the different teams in the West. Oh, go team up with Jokic, go team up whoever, woo, woo, woo. And this has been going on for the last 10 plus years. They are family at this point. We are going to see them play together no matter what at Team USA this summer. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Draymond Green. I don't think I don't think there's any conversation about it, bro. I mean, we've talked about it before. We've heard Draymond say, I mean, they're at each other's weddings. They're family at this point.
They're
And we've
both part of
heard,
clutch.
I mean, both part of clutch. And then on top of
Draymond
that,
is clutch.
let's be real. Both kids from Akron, both kids, and Steph Curry and LeBron James going back and forth with each other, man, for years. They created a dynasty in both regards for Cleveland and Golden State, going against each other for years in the finals. I mean, for them to be able to team up, especially at this point in their careers, I don't think it's a super team. I don't think it would be treated the same way that Kevin Durant was treated back in 2017 when he teamed up, or 2016, 2017 with the Warriors. Because, at that point they were coming off a championship. We've seen the Warriors struggle. Klay Thompson, you made a great point. Klay Thompson could take a veteran minimum, and LeBron James could fill in that max slot because Klay is inevitably going to be a free agent. And the big thing with that is Klay makes over 35, 40 million a year. He is the 13th highest paid player in the league. So boom, you take out Klay's big contract, fill it with Bron, and you're good. The Warriors can draft Bronny because damn well they ain't drafting a center. Steve Kerr hates centers, couldn't spell center if it was on a whiteboard in front of him. But I think, and the one that he did, not even gonna get into it, but I definitely think you could see Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and LeBron James with Kuminga on the bench. I mean, you have a squad right there. And even if Klay doesn't stay, if Klay ends up going to Orlando like the rumors are anticipating, or by the grace of God, if he ends up a Chicago Bull, I'll go crazy. I'll be at every game. But I think, man, for me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, they've played against each other for years at the highest of levels, at the biggest stage. They've just never played with each other, and other than the All-Star game. So I definitely think this is where I see LeBron James going. I could see them drafting Bronny. We talked about it a little while ago. I don't see a team like Charlotte or Washington or Chicago drafting Bronny James because obviously championship contending teams are going to want to do that. The biggest question to me is what comes first, LeBron James signing or Bronny James getting drafted? And I think that for me, or not necessarily signing officially, but the understanding of this is where Bron wants to go. Do you think it's going to be more so about where Bronny goes, or do you think Bron already has an idea, hey, this is where I'm going because I got to get number 5?
I think right now it's up in the air, but I'm pretty sure that Rich is working on some things behind the scenes. LeBron is going to be in the loop wherever he goes because teams are, I'm not saying that Bronny's going to be high up on the draft in terms of picking, but as far as if we're talking fifth, sixth round, and teams are going to be looking at him to try to get LeBron.
Right.
And I think, teams are going to be using that as a talking angle and talking with LeBron, saying, hey, we're willing to draft Bronny. We're willing to give you guys some playing time. We're willing to do whatever it takes to make your last few years in the league, not only great for us, but great for you and set all your expectations as well. The only pushback I have with the Warriors is where does that leave Draymond?
Right.
Because if you draft LeBron, I mean, not draft, but if you trade for LeBron or you pick up LeBron in free agency, he's going to become your primary ball handler.
Right.
That's just LeBron's game. And Draymond for the Warriors is your primary ball handler.
Right.
So where does that leave Draymond? Because you're not going to want to have Draymond sitting in corners trying to get open threes. Like, that's
I think
just not
for
going to
me,
work.
Draymond Green reverts back to who he was prior to Kevin Durant. And I think what I mean by that is that defensive player of the year candidate, that great rebounder that he was. You kind of see a Dennis Rodman-esque role, hopefully not beating the shit out of people, but hopefully, just doing his thing and playing defense, and that's going to be his role. I think you would probably rock out a lineup if I had to guess. Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, his name's Jonathan, right? Jonathan Kuminga. LeBron James, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney. I think you would rock out like that, and Draymond would be defensive purposes only, kind of like what we've seen from him recently, really. I mean, yeah, he's coming up with the ball, but he ain't making no play. I mean, you've seen it before, man. Steph and Kuminga have kind of tried to take that over just a little bit as of recently, especially in his absence. They haven't been horrible at it.
Well, that's why, because he ain't been there.
Exactly. But that's, you know what I mean? It is what it is now. Now you're going to be treated as such. So I definitely could see it. I definitely think Draymond could still have a role there, especially with Kuminga, the cum bucket, continuing to get better every single day. Resume. Hey, it's his nickname.
Pause.
His
old nickname.
Resume. But man, before we get out of here, man, first I want to say our thoughts and prayers are with Luke Walton and his family right now after the passing of Bill Walton at 71 years old.
Bill, man.
Super unfortunate. 71 years old, passing away of cancer. If I'm not mistaken, Rob is the one that broke that to me a little while ago. Definitely devastating. I think everybody can relate to that in some capacity. Cancer is a bitch, man, and it just is. Sucks. It is what it is. It's crazy.
But what the happy ending, if you can find one, is that he was surrounded by his family.
Of course, so it's a great way.
He was surrounded by his family. I'm praying that he went peacefully. We know the type of personality that Bill Walton had. I mean, the guy is a champion. We saw what he did with the UCLA Bruins, and then bringing a ring to Portland, and then being MVP, the Finals MVP in the year in Portland, and then showing the professionalism and realizing he's going to a Boston team where he's not the man, and then being the 6-year man of the year on a championship team. I mean, that just showed you who Bill Walton was, and then bringing that personality, that energy, that knowledge to broadcasting, and being one of the most colorful broadcasters we've seen, actually being named top 50 broadcaster of all time. So, I mean, Bill Walton, man, a true legend, a true student and teacher of the game. And he's going to be missed. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the Walton family. Hope Luke and everybody is able to get some type of closure, and knowing that their father was with them and he loved them and he did everything he could for them. And, the NBA lost the real one. They lost the real one.
For sure. So our thoughts and prayers are with him. Again, thank you for everybody who served. Thank you for everybody being here today.
Of course, man. Special shout out to my cousin too, man, in the military, who served, man, and now is a cop. So thank you for what you've done for us internationally. Thank you for what you do to us on a domestic level, and to all the men and women out here that has served. To piggyback off my boy Mike Hughes, man.
100%. And appreciate everybody who is serving and isn't serving, who checked us out today. Give us a like, give us a shot, hit that follow, hit that like button. You can find me, Mike Hughes, at theshy.kid on Instagram and TikTok. You can find Rob Scott at Rob's2 Cents. You can check his podcast out, hopefully coming soon, because I'm on his ass. Better believe it. I'll be sending them all types of fucked up Instagram. Resume. Or I'm on it until you start going again. I'm on it. And Brandon Ingram right behind me too. He got next. He told me. But with that being said, man, we appreciate y'all being here. You can check us out. Check out Germ, Protect Our Queens, Mike, Bert, Corey, everybody around the sun at this network doing amazing things. Hopefully we'll see Rob Scott around here a lot more. Until then, make sure you give us a like, give us a follow. Check us out. Link in the bio below. Till then, peace.